A genetic cross occurs when new combinations of alleles are formed by sexual reproduction. For example, we could cross these chromosomes and get two different combinations. We now have a pair of dominant alleles for gene A here and a pair of recessive alleles for gene A here. How can we predict the outcomes of genetic crosses like this? We can use Punnett square diagrams to predict the possible genotypes in the offspring of two parents. This diagram shows a Punnett square. We can use one of these to predict the possible genotypes of the offspring of two parents by putting in the genotypes in each of these boxes. So let's go through an example with parent 1 and parent 2, which are both heterozygous for a single gene. So the alleles for parent 1 would be capital A and lowercase a, and the same for parent 2. Remember that dominant alleles are shown by uppercase letters and recessive alleles are shown by lowercase letters. It's really important that you use upper and lowercase letters that are clearly different from each other. For example, capital C and lowercase c, or capital O and lowercase o could be easily confused. So we've put the parent genotypes in here, and now we're going to put the offspring genotypes in these four boxes. So using the alleles in this example, there are four possible combinations that we could get in the offspring. We could get two dominant alleles, a dominant and a recessive, another dominant and recessive, or two recessive. So these are the three possible genotypes that each offspring could have for this gene. There are three possibilities, not four, because two of them are the same. This doesn't mean that the couple's first baby will be homozygous dominant, their second two will be heterozygous, and their fourth will be homozygous recessive. The Punnett square shows that each child of these two parents will have one of these three genotypes. Simple ratios can be used to describe the outcome of a single genetic cross. So let's write out these genotypes as a ratio. So here we have the homozygous dominant genotype, and at this end the homozygous recessive, and in the middle we have the heterozygous genotype. If we count out how many of each of these genotypes there are in the Punnett square, we come up with a ratio of 1 to 2 to 1. So 1 homozygous dominant, 2 heterozygous, and 1 homozygous recessive. How else can we compare these genotypes? Fractions or percentages can also be used to describe the probability of different phenotypes in offspring. So let's start with the homozygous dominant genotype. 1 out of 4 of the offspring are likely to have the combination of two dominant alleles. 1 out of 4, or a quarter, equals 25%. So we'd say there's a 25% chance of the offspring having a homozygous dominant genotype. Now let's have a look at the heterozygous genotype. Circling these, we can see that 2 out of 4 of the offspring have the combination of uppercase and a lowercase a. 2 out of 4 equals a half if we simplify the fraction, which is equivalent to 50%. So there's a 50% probability of the offspring having a heterozygous genotype. Finally, let's have a look at the homozygous recessive genotype. 1 out of 4, or a quarter of the offspring, are likely to have the combination of two recessive alleles. 1 out of 4 equals 25%, so there's a 25% probability of the offspring having a homozygous recessive genotype. It's important that you're able to interpret information from genetic crosses and also complete Punnett square diagrams like this one in the exams. Now, let's take a look at a real-life example. Punnett squares can be used to calculate the probability of different phenotypes in offspring. For example, brown eyes are the result of the dominant allele B, and blue eyes are the result of the recessive allele B. Remember that 2 recessive alleles are needed to have blue eyes. So here we have a Punnett square. You can see the parent genotypes in the Punnett square. So we have 2 lowercase b's, which are recessive, so this parent has blue eyes, and a heterozygous genotype here, so 1 capital and 1 lowercase. And this parent is heterozygous and will have brown eyes because this is a dominant allele responsible for brown eyes. So let's cross these and have a look at the different phenotypes that we'll get in the offspring. Have a look at this table and see if you can find out the probability of these parents having offspring with blue eyes. So we know that blue eyes are caused by the recessive lowercase b allele, so what we need is a pair of lowercase b alleles for the offspring to have blue eyes. This combination comes up twice in the Punnett square. This means there's a 50% chance of the offspring having blue eyes.
Thanks for watching. If you want to take your GCSE revision to the next level, head over to launchpadlearning.com and check out our smart learning platform that's been designed to get you top results in your exams. We cover your whole specification and make revision fun with interactive quizzes, easy to follow videos and more. You'll be kept motivated by your own AI tutor who's here to support you every step of the way. To check it out for yourself, click here. Or click here to keep watching a selection of the videos from our full GCSE Biology course. See you there!